Welcome back to Really Legal. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. So damning evidence already in today's Trump trial with David Pecker, plus the gag order was argued today in front of Judge Merchan. I'll give you the good, the bad, and what's next. So it started today with Judge Merchan hearing from the prosecution and the defense related to Trump's violation of his gag order. This is a limited gag order that we've discussed before, where Trump could not go after witnesses, jurors, members of the family of the court members. This was clear and has been argued, and everybody knows about it. Donald Trump was in court. So the prosecution brought forth the Truth Social posts, but also argued that Donald Trump just yesterday outside of court went after Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels, which appears on the face of it to be a clear violation of the gag order, which would at a minimum require sanctions from Judge Merchan, possibly if there's 10 counts. And by the way, it seems to go up every time since Donald Trump, during the break after the gag order hearing, attacked Judge Merchan on Truth Social. Unbelievable. This guy cannot, or intentionally chooses not, to keep his mouth shut. It's one of the two. He is absolutely incapable, or he is doing this with intent for appeals purposes, for fundraising purposes, whatever that might be. But the prosecution clearly laid out 10 causes, 10 cases where he should be sanctioned. Trump should be sanctioned. That could be worth up to $50,000 in fines. Theoretically, he could be sent off to Rikers for jail time in a very unpleasant jail in New York. But interestingly enough, the defense tried to make the argument very unsuccessfully. Oh, no, this is just political. The MAGA indicates it's purely political. And what's interesting is Merchan pressed Todd Blanche, the defense attorney arguing on behalf of Donald Trump, pressed him hard, saying, give me examples. And Todd Blanche could not provide any. And Merchan got a little bit angry with Todd Blanche today during that gag order hearing. Now, we don't have a ruling yet. The judge said at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, we've got to wrap this up. The jury's coming in. We don't have a specific time when we're going to receive the ruling from Judge Merchan. But we know that on Wednesday, April 24th, he doesn't have court on this topic. He has another court hearing that he deals with on Wednesdays, which is why this Trump trial could easily take 6 weeks total in this case, because we're not having hearings on Wednesday. So we're going to find out about that gag order. But give me your comments below. You think Trump is doing this absolutely intentionally, or is he just simply incapable of keeping his mouth shut? Give me your comments below. I'm really interested in that. You know I love your comments. So let's talk about the testimony today. And it was David Pecker, former CEO and owner of the National Enquirer. He talked about his history with Donald Trump. They were good friends. They smiled at each other today in court. The prosecution, this is damning evidence. I mean, Pecker exploded all over the defense here with his testimony. It was unbelievable. He talked about the fact that Trump and Cohen and himself met and discussed this idea of catch and kill, right? So they wanted National Enquirer to try and buy stories that were negative to Donald Trump, pay him off, and then put him away so nobody ever knows about it. Okay, so that's the start of part two, essentially, of what happens with these causes of action. Remember, this is felony business records fraud, and it's not misdemeanor business records frauds. It's felony. So there was an intent to commit another crime, which is election interference here, violation of New York election law. So he talked about the catch and kill, but he went further than that, and I think this is really important. He said something that I think was so damning to Trump's defense, it was mind-boggling. He said that Trump is very detail oriented, and he would even describe Trump as a micromanager. Remember, DA Alvin Bragg, on at least 9 of the 34 counts, 9 of the checks have Trump's own signature on them. So how is Donald Trump going to get out of this? Where you said that these were payments to your lawyer, of which there was not a retainer agreement. In California, it's called a fee agreement. In the state of California, we are required by law to have a written fee agreement for any amount of case that we're doing for a client in excess of $1,000, $1,000 or more, actually. In the state of California, we must have a written and signed fee agreement. He didn't have one of those. Trump, according to David Pecker today, had a good idea of what was going on. He assigned Michael Cohen as his agent to run these stories through after that initial meeting. Now, Michael Cohen personally invited David Pecker to Trump's, when he announced that he was running for president. By the way, also of note today was that Trump decided to run for president based on, according to David Pecker's testimony today, based on National Enquirer's own poll of their readers that showed 80% of National Enquirer readers wanted Donald Trump to run for president. He shared that with Donald Trump. Not long after, Donald Trump went on the Today Show, shared that information, and said, yeah, I'm going to end up running for president. And that's also critical testimony to tie the fact back to violating New York election law, making the falsification of these business records a felony, a Class E felony in the state of New York. So today was explosive, damning evidence from David Pecker, who really clearly laid out the connection, the payments, the catch and kill of the doorman story, which, by the way, turned out to be, according to David Pecker, 1,000% untrue about this out-of-wedlock child. Karen McDougal, the former Playboy model, the $150,000 payment to her, that was discussed today. We're going to get to the detail of the Stormy Daniels testimony on Thursday, April 25th, 2024. Again, there's not going to be any new updates on this trial tomorrow, but this was, by gosh, the prosecution came out of the gate with their guns blazing with David Pecker's testimony. It is just really, I mean, my opinion is this is going to be so hard for the defense to overcome because they're going to have to cross-examine David Pecker and say, well, did you ever talk to Donald Trump about this? He doesn't have to have talked to Donald Trump exclusively about all of these transactions because Donald Trump assigned his agent, his attorney, Michael Cohen, to handle this, approved it at the outset, signed checks as they were doing this. Todd Blanche, I don't know how he beats this unless Michael Cohen just absolutely perjures himself and goes nuts on the stand to turn off the jury, unless there's a corrupt juror, which I highly doubt. It's just, this is really hard based on this evidence from today from David Pecker, former CEO and owner of the National Enquirer. Look, give me your comments below. Click that like button. So love reading your comments. Smash subscribe. And again, stop holding this to yourself. Share these videos. Share what we're doing here at Really American with others. We absolutely count on that for you to help spread the word, not just the algorithms, okay? So share these videos with others. So love the opportunity to talk to you. This is Really Legal on the Really American Network. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. I'll talk to you next time.